Hello and welcome to The Evangelist. I want to address issues in relation to expectations. Sometimes we expect a bit too much of ourselves, or in fact, when we are engaged in gospeling others, giving a good witness, testifying to what we know and understanding about the Christian faith, others can have an unfair expectation as well of us. And let me address briefly what I believe is a fair expectation for you as a witness. Very important. And let me do this by saying what you should not expect of yourself and what should not be expected of you from someone else. And I think in a spirit of fairness, if you can argue this case or at least state it briefly to the people you're just talking to, they will appreciate the fact that there's lots of things that you are not and that you don't need to be a credible witness. And if you can picture yourself in a courtroom and you're expected or called upon to be a witness, the first thing is that you are not the judge. Someone might want to put you in the position of judge, and you should resist that at all costs. You're not the one who is going to wrap up the world at the day of judgment. You're not the one called to judge the speck in another person's eye when, in fact, you may have a log in your own. We all understand, those of us who have come to Christ, to recognize our points of weakness and our vulnerability, and we ourselves know that we've avoided the judgment that was due to us. And in that sense, we're wanting to help others to avoid the judgment due to them. And in fact, we're not trying to enter into the role of judge. We are not the judge. And no one should try and box you in as if you are the judge. No. In the court, there is another judge, and it's not us. The other thing is that we are not the prosecuting attorney. In other words, we're not the ones trying to bring charges against people. We shouldn't have an approach where we're looking for people's sins and where we're trying to nail them down in terms of their own faults and their own problems and their own frailties and their own weaknesses and their own damaged lives. Most people will be pretty free and transparent about their own vulnerabilities. We don't adopt the role of prosecuting attorney. There is a prosecuting attorney in this idea of the courtroom, and he is largely our enemy. And we need to avoid taking up that role ourselves. We are not the judge and we are not the prosecuting attorney. We are not the defense attorney either. In this sense, often in seeking to be empathetic to other people, we can so ingratiate them and so defend people that they see no merit to the Christian faith at all, that they don't see the necessity for themselves to take God's side against themselves, which is what repentance is all about. So we're not the defense attorney either. Now, there is a place for that, and we know who the defense attorney is before the Father in heaven currently. That is Christ himself. He is our defense attorney. But we are not that person. We need to bring people to the bar of justice and see what happens in terms of their faith response. You as a witness are not called to be an expert witness either. This is very important because an expert witness is someone called upon who would have special knowledge about certain things. And the average person in the average Christian community is not likely to know the nuanced nature of theological interpretation of the Old Testament and how, Christ, for example, is the final interpreter. These type of specialized, comprehensive understanding of theology A good witness is not called upon to be an expert witness on all matters pertaining to the Christian faith. No, you've seen and experienced the goodness of God in a certain way, and that's what you're called to testify concerning. And so the witness, you as a witness are called to simply be a witness to what you have seen and heard. And when called upon, you're called upon to give a clear message in terms of your own experience and your own understanding of that, as far as finding it in the truth and the reality of the scriptures. So let me commend to you to simply be a witness. And with good training, you can become a better witness. And I think that's what our goal here at The Evangelist is, to encourage people to be a better witness. Thanks.